Hey, what's up you guys? It's Dorothy and welcome back to my channel. I know things look a little bit different. It's because I'm not sitting in the dark this time with my ring light on because that gives me a headache every so often, and that was leaving a glare in my glasses because my laptop was on. But I just have my regular light on today for my house, and we're going to go like that because I did not want to get a migraine, because sometimes I get a migraine from just sitting in front of the ring light for so long. But anyways, in this video we're going to go into chapter 20 of How to Disappear by Sharon Huss Wrote. I hope that you guys are ready for this video, and let's get right into it. This video may contain sensitive topics and foul language. If you do not wish to continue, please click off of the video now. You have been warned. At home on Saturday, I pull out my Siege of Jerusalem assignment and try to do some research online. I'm way behind, even with Lipton giving me notes and offering up his presentation slot. I last only about 15 minutes before switching over to Instagram just to check how many followers I have this morning. I note the new total, 349,000, then decide to take a quick peek at some of the comments on the last few posts. An hour later, I'm in deep, and instead of lifting me up today, vicarious followers are dragging me down. I should have known to expect trolls, but I fooled myself into thinking I had created a place where no one would ridicule me or criticize. Behind the wig and sunglasses and crazy clothes and jewelry, I would be safe. Silly me. It seems when you reach a certain level of popularity, the haters come out of the woodwork and take you down. Some even give the word hater and their usernames. I can ignore the generic negativity in comments like, I don't get it, or this is stupid, or why, just why. It's the ones that home in on me, on who I am and decisions I've made. Those are the ones that really bother me, make me question and second guess and worry that I've done something terribly wrong. Hipster hater. The yin yang tat is kinda lame. I lift my shirt to look at the Sharpie symbol on my side. It's obviously not a real tattoo, or maybe he takes exception to using the yin yang symbol at all. Someone else writes, yeah, a little cliche. I start stressing over it because it's totally not cool. I never heard that before, but where would I hear that? Beth Ann is so much cooler than I am, and she drew the yin yang on the toes of her shoes. It's entirely possible, though, that Richardson High School itself is not the pinnacle of cool. Then I start worrying that it's offensive or something, that I've accidentally insulted someone. I start Googling and finding all these discussions on whether or not people who aren't Chinese or Buddhist or terrorists should wear the yin yang symbol at all, or if it's cultural appropriation, and I'm not even sure what that means, and my head is going to explode. I take deep breaths. I scan the comments to see if anyone's saying that, if anyone's offended, but they're not. Some chime in to defend me, to say it's a positive thing, it's universal, anyone can use it if it means something to them, and it does mean something to me. It's a symbol of my friendship with Jenna, the balance between us strengths and weaknesses, the ups and downs. Seeing it still gives me the tiniest hope that it's not completely over, that our friendship will right itself in the end, so I try to push the yin yang haters out of my mind, but that's not the only thing people are complaining about. One of my very first followers writes, why don't you follow anyone back? Only following 8, only one woman? That's bullshit. I frowned. Did I only follow men? It wasn't on purpose. My first was a girl, rhyming Rhea, and I would have followed Jennifer Lawrence if she had an Instagram, or Demiselle Poldark. Still, the criticism stings, so I find some of my favorite women on social media. There's Amanda Palmer, singer-songwriter, ukulele player. She's also so cool and different and completely unafraid. She once let a mob of fans autograph her body. I wouldn't mind living vicariously through her for a day or two. I click the follow button. I try to follow J.K. Rowling, but it's a fake account, so I follow Emma Watson instead. If Hermione had an account, I'd followed her too, but the only ones I find are fan sites. I follow the Malalia Fund and Oprah and Zoe Deschanel. And finally, Ellen, The Ellen Show. She's got more than 42 million followers. A single one of her posts gets 350,000 likes. I haven't posted a photo today, so I quickly pop Vicarious onto the set of The Ellen Show, making it look like we're dancing together. I didn't even have to Photoshop anyone out because Ellen is always dancing. I post it with hashtag Ellen and hashtag Keep Dancing tags. It's comforting to know there's someone out there with a following so huge it makes mine seem tiny. She's got to be bigger than most states population-wise. I look it up and I'm right. Ellen's fan base is greater than the population of California, which is the largest state in the country. It makes the target on my back feel slightly smaller, but not for long. Are you a lesbo? You only follow famous people, not nobodies like me. I block Macho Mike 33, then I nod at emojis comment because it's true. I've only followed famous people, and it's not because I think they're the only ones worthy of my attention. It's more because I can disappear into their massive numbers of followers. They won't even notice me. I realize that doesn't make sense for someone with 350,000 followers, but making sense is clearly not my strong suit. If I could start this all over, I'd follow back every single person who followed me. I didn't do it at the beginning because of my pre-existing condition, the irrational fear of following people on social media. Now there are so many it could take me weeks to click the follow button on them all, and I don't want to leave anyone out accidentally. I still don't want anyone to feel like a nobody knowing the can of worms I'm about to unleash. I follow Emojin. Maybe it's like Jen and her name makes me do it, which gives me an idea. I open my list of followers and search for anyone with Jen or Jenna in their usernames. A little voice inside my head asks, "Why are you doing this?" It says, "She's not Jenna, and neither is that girl or that one or that one." It tells me to give up already. She doesn't want you anymore, but I do it anyway. Sometimes I do things without understanding why, and this is one of those times. I find 78 and follow them all. The last I click on is one of the first who followed me, and the first I ever replied to, just Jennified. When I'm done following Jens and Jennas, I wait. I watch for new Jennas to show up, and they do. I follow them. Look, I tell my little voice, there are people on social media who follow only Justin Bieber. If I want to follow people named Jen and Jenna, what's the big deal? It doesn't have to mean anything. Yet when none of the Jens or Jennas are Jenna Elizabeth Tanner, I'm disappointed, so I guess that means something. Monday morning is Lipton's presentation on the Battle of Thermopylae, and I'm nervous for him. You'd think I was the one about to stand in front of the class. Usually I'm glad everyone's attention is focused on someone other than me, but it's Lipton, and I'm afraid for him or something. At least I anticipated this possibility and put on a second t-shirt beneath my sweater before I left the house in case I soaked through the first. Mr. Braxley prolongs the agony by teaching through most of the period, saving the presentation for the end of class. Lipton looks like he might vomit. I notice he's wearing purple socks, so I point to them when no one else is looking and give him a thumbs up. He barely manages a weak smile. He's so nervous. And Adam isn't helping. He's tapping his foot like he's seriously over-caffeinated. For once, I'm not the one trying to hold it together. This could have been me, though, and oh, so much worse. Finally, Mr. Braxley tells Adam and Lipton to start. Instead of plugging a thumb drive into the classroom computer, Lipton has brought his own laptop. He is worried his presentation software wouldn't be compatible with Mr. Braxley's and didn't want to risk it. Still, he practically slumps with relief when his Battle of Thermopylae title page appears on the smart board in really huge letters. Adam starts talking, shuffling through his note cards. He gives an introduction which is presumably leading us to the battle in question. It's going fine until the title page dims, goes black, and the screensaver pops up. It's a photograph of Taylor Swift wearing a bright pink miniskirt and matching crop top with silver sequins. The class roars with laughter. Lipton lunges for his computer. It's not mine, it's my sister's, I swear. He hits the keyboard and the image goes away. My sister did it. We share the computer. The class is absolutely howling. Adam walks away from the podium toward the windows. I'm afraid he's going to thunk his head against the glass and hurt himself, but he just stands there looking out. Mr. Braxley, chuckling, tries to calm the class. All right, quiet down. He coaxes Adam back toward the desktop podium to resume his remarks. Mr. Braxley bites his lip, pats Adam on the shoulder, and says, "Shake it off," which starts an uproar all over again. Mr. Braxley quiets the room a second time. He looks sheepish, having made the joke that set everyone off. "I'm sorry," he says. "Adam, Lipton, we're laughing with you, not at you." I really hate when people say that. Adam reads the rest of his introduction in a weak monotone. Now we have a video we created to illustrate the battle. Lipton manages to say, "Could someone turn down the lights?" And the video begins. They've reenacted the Battle of Thermopylae on Minecraft. There's one huge army, the Persians, and one small one, the Greeks, and at the foot of the huge cliffs by the sea, all constructed with bitmappy blocks, the soldiers have cubed bearded heads with rectangular bodies and limbs. They're holding shields and swords. The battle commences with ominous music in the background, dramatically narrated in a deep voice that clearly Lipton is trying to sound intimidating. The soldiers start attacking, their little swords clanking against one another. It sounds like several dozen people clicking their pens. Each time a soldier is struck and killed, red chunks of bloody parts fall to the ground. "'Tis but a scratch," Jeremy says in a high-pitched voice. His friends start laughing. "It's just a flesh wound." They're shouting out lines for Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and Mr. Braxley makes Lipton stop the video until everyone settles down. "I've got a nice stack of detention slips for anyone who talks for the rest of the presentation. Everling, you hear me?" Jeremy nods, smirking. I don't even want to turn around to see Lipton's face. I'm pretty good at imagining worst-case scenarios, but I couldn't have dreamed this nightmare. The video resumes and Lipton's deep narrator voice says the Greeks fought valiantly, holding off the much larger Persian army for 2 days until I do my best to ignore the fact that everyone is squirming, visibly trying to keep from laughing. The video was actually really impressive. Once you get past the funny sounds of the swords clashing and the chunks of body parts flying around, it must have taken hours to create a geographically accurate landscape around Thermopylae and generate all those little soldiers and swords and arrows. The whole thing comes to a dramatic conclusion when a traitor to the Greeks reveals a secret passage allowing the Persians to enter the city. Lipton's voice gets more and more animated. Our classmates wrap arms and hands around their mouths to keep from laughing as Leonards and the last few Spartans are slaughtered by tiny arrows and hail down for them from the cliffs above. The video ends, the bell rings, the class rushes out so they can release the laughter they've been holding in. I remain at my desk, Lipton somewhere behind me, silent. Adam lifts his head from the podium. Told you, he says. Lipton doesn't try to catch my eye. As he packs his computer, I shuffle out. That's what I would want if it were me, to be left alone, to not speak of it or be spoken of, or even share facial expressions that acknowledge its existence at all. Kids are still making fun of the presentation in the hall, and I'm almost overtaken by an urge to run at them, bring my arms down on theirs, and make them stop. It's a new feeling, wanting to confront the humiliation, to stop it. When it happens to me, I only want to hide. I make it through my next 2 classes and slip into the girls' bathroom at the beginning of lunch period instead of heading directly to yearbook. My usual stall in the corner is empty, so I lock myself in it and pull out my phone. Even before opening the screen, I can see Vicarious has been busy today. I navigate to my notifications and scroll through them. Excuse me. Half of the people named Jen or Jenna thanking me for following them. The other half are people not named Jen or Jenna begging me to follow them. And there's one from Just Jennified, a comment on the image of cat in the Vicarious wig, which simply says, "Nice cat." It makes me catch my breath because that's what my Jenna always used to say to me whenever Cat would hiss at her or refuse to be petted by anyone but me. I click over to Just Jennified's page to see if there's any sign of my former best friend, but she's only there for a couple of weeks and hasn't posted much. No selfies. There's a view of a dirty bus window, the scenery blurred, a photo looking straight up at the sky through a canopy of trees, another pointing down at a leaf-clawed gutter. She puts a single tag on her photos, #lost or #sad or #dirty. It can't be her. Just in case, though, I comment to Just Jennified the way I used to always reply to Jenna. She knows who feeds her. I tag Just Jennified to make sure she sees it among the hundreds of comments on the post, and I'm about to leave my bathroom stall when 2 girls walk in. I hug my backpack to my chest and lean against the wall to wait them out. It's excruciating. They're talking about what they're going to wear to a friend's party on Saturday. It's a strange dance in which one girl's wardrobe must not outshine the others. They must complement each other, but without being matchy-matchy. In the end, they pick essentially the same outfit in slightly different colors. I hope they're done because I really have to leave for class, and I've been quiet for way too long to all of a sudden to walk out of a stall. Let me check my Instagram, one says. I suppress a groan. How many followers are you up to, the other asks. 215. Following? 228. I'm 237 and 485. I need to stop following people who don't follow me back. Like Vicarious? I suck in my breath, but the sound is covered by the other girl's laughter. Yeah, she says. Or change my name to Jen. Maybe call yourself Jen, Jenna, Jenny, Jennifer, Jennanis. It wouldn't work. She hasn't followed anyone new since the weekend. Not even the ones who changed their names. Whatever. I still love her. Me too. Me too, me too, me too. My eyes widen at their repetition of me too, like it's a thing. I'm so focused on their conversation that I forget I'm holding my backpack and it slips. It doesn't hit the floor, but the sound of me struggling with it is enough to stop the girls from talking. I didn't know anyone was in there. One says quietly, me either. Who's in there? I want so badly to say it's me, Vicarious, but I gather my things and unlock the stall. I shuffle out to a eavesdrop much. It's Mallory from biology, the one who thinks Hallie Bryce isn't human. I close my eyes, pretend I'm 3 years old again, and if I can't see them, they can't see me. The other girl says it doesn't matter. I can't hear what she says. I am, or if she's saying anything, but it's easy enough to fill in the blank. Maybe she made the international crazy gesture, twirling her finger at the side of her head. or mouth something like nobody. They leave and I stare at myself in the mirror. How can they live vicarious and be so dismissive of me, of anyone? They're just like the kids in class who took Lipton down without a thought as to how that made him feel. Knowing I have followers like that makes me want to hurl or shout, "You suck," really loud. Instead, I swallow it down like I always do, take a deep breath, and stomp as quietly as possible to class. That is the end of chapter 20. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!